Hello everybody, here's a quick preview of what I'm working on. What we have here is an old Leeson permanent magnet DC motor, 90 volt, 150 amp. At least I believe it's 150 amp. I can't really read the tag. I'll get back to you on that. What it's spinning is two 110 amp 12 volt alternators, General Motors. And it's spinning them through a dual pulley. I don't know if you can see that there. I apologize for the camera work. I'm doing this via laptop. The drive circuit that I was using to do this evidently didn't make the cut. So what I'm using at the moment is my Variac coming right out of the wall, going to a full wave bridge rectifier, being cooled by 3 small computer fans. And the computer fans I plug into the wall. It's just less of a hassle than attaching them to the battery. Let's see if I could show you over here. Right here is the DC motor controller that runs it. Very simple, very cheap. Got it from Amazon, $16. The alternators were $111. Variac was like $130. So let's give you a preview of, or a breakdown of how that's working here. So what we got is AC line coming out of the side of the Variac to the full wave bridge rectifier. Then from there to a 20 amp 12 volt inline fuse, to a couple of capacitors, 250 volt, 1500 microfarad, then to the DC motor controller, and then to the permanent magnet motor, which in turn spins up the 2 alternators through a dual pulley. Now what I'm going to show you is here's the clamp, the DC clamp that will give you the amps coming out of the alternator. And this here, this meter, is to show you the voltage that's going into the treadmill motor. And this here is the voltage on the 2 batteries. Now the batteries, they're running on parallel because they're hooked into a power inverter, 3000 watts continuous, 7000 watt surge. And as you can see, that's how they connect. So when the alternator is charging one battery, or so you would think, it's actually charging both. So let's see if we can get this turned on here. Get this demonstrated for everybody. So there's the plug coming out of the Variac, as you can see. Follow the line if you can. Apologize about the lighting of my camera. Like I said, I'm using a laptop. Please bear with me. So there's the ventilation. You can hear it turn on. That's just for the heating, because I'm using the Variac. Things heat up. With the proper circuit, comes right off the battery. You'll use 650 to 700 watts to spin up the alternators, and each alternator produces 1400. Right now, for the sake of this experiment, we're only using one alternator. So only one alternator is going to charge these 2 batteries. Now, batteries for this type of a application, I should not be using start batteries. They have cold cranking amps, and they have about 100 amps each in them, but they're not deep cycle. And deep cycle is what you want to use for a system like this. At the moment, it is what it is. It's what I have, so it's what I'm using. Just for demonstration purposes, to show you that it's actually charging. I guess we'll just start it up and take it from there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the Variac, and what's going to happen is the DC charge controller is turned down. So I'll walk over there and I'll turn it up and the motor will start. And what we'll see is we'll see the voltage on this meter as to what's going into the treadmill. And then we'll see amps on this meter as to what's coming out of the alternator. Well, let's just switch that to DC. Alright, here we go. Power to the Variac's on. See, I'll move you over here to the meter, see if we can get this to focus before I turn up the dial. And here we go. The dial is now turning up. We're roughly at 40 volts. I apologize again about the camera. See if that will focus. You guys can see roughly 40 volts there. Crappy camera. I apologize. Alright, Variac's on. This is just for me, this AC again, I apologize, AC meter, but we'll see here. There we go. Now we're at full on the DC motor controller, and that's it running now. It's not very loud because we're not talking a gas-powered motor here, just a treadmill motor. And as you can see, we're already producing 25 amps. And we're going to bring you over here to the meter, see if we can show you where we're at. And that shows roughly around 28. I'm going to just bring up the voltage a little bit here. You can hear the speed of the motor coming up. And you can see the amps going into the battery. 70 amps, 60 amps. That's the voltage regulator trying to balance out what's going into the two batteries. I'll bring you over here to the voltage of the battery itself. See if that will focus. We're already at 13 volts and counting. Alright. How many amps are we going in? Sorry, I apologize, our voltage is almost 30 volts. Now let's see if we can move this over here and show the DC amps going into the motor, because I'm sure that's a question everybody has. See if I can set this without blowing myself up or anything that I got going on here. Alright. You see that? 15 amps DC going into the motor. See the cord? And that's my demonstration, everybody. It's not perfect. My camera work has a long way to go, but this is it. Oh, if you'd like to see this meter here, it's not very accurate, but it gives me a gauge of what's going in. What it's actually showing me is the AC going in and out, because this is a full weight bridge rectifier. I'm not sure the meter is actually working properly. Let's see if I could switch this meter over here to AC. Okay, so now this is reading AC. Meter's on. Oof, it's a little close there. Won't blow anything up. Yeah, see, AC 5 amps I'm pulling. It's not a lot. On my power inverter, when I plug it in, it reads 660. So that's not a lot of wattage. 660 watts, 530 direct from the Variac, but you got to include loss from the cables and heat. Well, that concludes me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.